Hello, guys. Welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. Thank you so much for being here. Michael, first one in, and wow, the Hoosiers get the victory today. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm still under the weather. So I'm like Theraflu deep. Just got back from my dad's house. We're watching the game together. We're going to talk about everything that happened in this game and just uh, the second half. I mean, by far the best 20 minutes that this team has played all year, and the defense finally shows up, and it's just really unbelievable to see because after the first half, I was thinking this is looking a lot like the first half of the UCLA game, and I just kind of thought, well, if they can't get more offense than 25 points in the first half, it's going to be a long road in the second half. And what does IU do? They come out in the second half and just the defense, Renew walled up, just played much tougher defense. But Rice and Leal on the perimeter, holding Braden Smith to 8 points. I mean, that was a big part of this game. So tell me what you think about the game. And yes, Purdue loses 4 straight. Is so happy to be that the Indiana Hoosiers at home beat Purdue and put them 4. I was just like talking about this during the game, but it's like Purdue, I mean, if you just go back 3 weeks ago, everyone's saying, oh, yeah, Purdue, they might be better with Trey Kaufman-Renn than the Edey team. I mean, I heard some people floating that out there. I mean, you also heard people saying, like, oh, they could go to the Final Four again. And, when I was talking to Kent the other day, he was saying how Purdue has run their legs ragged. And I could definitely see that even in the first half of this game, how, I don't know, there were just times where Purdue, even though they were ahead, they just did not look like I saw Braden Smith just kind of almost limping back one time. And we're going to talk about it all in this episode. I'm going to try to make it through this as much as I possibly can because I think I'm getting the flu because it is, it's just wild. Kid of the babysitter has that influenza A, and then my family had it last week, and then now I'm getting it. But here's what I had written down in the first half. Indiana goes 9-10. They scored the 21st point at 9-10 in the first half. And I don't want to get all negative here, but I just thought it was like, wow, to see that long of a drought. So Indiana went about 10 minutes and they only scored. So they scored the 21st point with 9:10 on the clock. So they scored 4 points from there on out. And then start out the second half on a 3-27 run and just completely took Trey Kaufman-Renn out of the game. Renew, Balo on like his offensive play, but Renew, and they really seem to like stay tied together and double team him and stop him from getting down into the post. And it was just unbelievable to see because we've not seen it all year. Also, like the defense from Miles Rice was, for the first time, you just saw him like really be a difference maker, really be out in space, really be able to do like the things that everybody said he would be able to do. I must say, Anthony Leal, he was lucky to not get kicked out of this game. I mean, this is what I wrote on the way back. It's like when those referees were over there, some referees, they may be the type of referees that are going to be, voting on a Golden Globe. Some referees might be voting on an Oscar. Some referees might be voting on a Daytime Emmy. These referees might have been voting on a Daytime Emmy because it was clear to me that it looked like Leo was trying to kick him in the nuts. If he would have had a longer leg, it definitely would have gotten there. I mean, that was – but also, the play at first, it looked like he definitely grabbed them from the front and just, like, pulled him down. And then those guys had another tangle up later on in the game. But I just thought that was really interesting that I hate these periods of time where they go to the monitor for so long, and it's even with about 5-6 minutes left in the game. They had another time they went to the monitor. I'm like, this is just like a free timeout for Purdue. Time for them to just stand over there. and get their crap together. But yeah. Oh, he connected. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't try to kick a guy in the pills. I mean, I thought that's like a pretty common thing, but it's just he was lucky. He was lucky because Leo definitely helped him in this game. And another game where Mbako just completely out of the game. Bryson Tucker did not play at all in this game. But let's look at what Indiana was able to do. Like, first off, on Purdue's side, I mean, Kaufman-Renn fouls out with 9 points. I mean, this dude, they definitely had a good game plan coming in. This has been their main go-to guy. I mean, I've been watching their past games, and he's been scoring in the 20s every single game after game after game. I don't see it, but you know what? Indiana has the big guys to run them out there and double team. So, I mean, with the combination of, Renew starting the game and Mbako and Balo, we knew like they didn't start right from the very beginning. But Mike Woodson still went with kind of like a stubbornness there midway through because it was, I don't know, around the 15 or 14-minute mark. And I apologize because it's like my head from the cold medicine. I'm like, sometimes can't think straight. But, yeah, I mean, there was a point there where, and I'm happy he didn't come back into the game because Cowboy Carlisle comes in with Balo and Mbako, and I don't know what combination of players they had out there right there, but it was like Carlisle and Mbako came in after the starting lineup, after he started making some of his changes, and then, yeah, it just definitely started to look like, well, this is the same old Hoosiers. But what happened at halftime? I mean, did Galloway hand out tube shots or tequila shots, or I don't know what happened. Did they take a trip over to Yogi's? I have no clue, but something lit a fire under this team's ass, and then they started to play like they actually wanted to play defense. I watched games all day yesterday, and you watch like Houston play, and it's just essential to be connected on defense, like how they were able to get it done in this game. And they really looked connected out top. I mean, that is the main spot. They were not allowing, like even Braden Smith, some of his threes he took, I thought he was like off balance or had some bad spots. Lawyer still scored. Let's look at the stats here. Because, I mean, Lawyer still scored 20 points in this game on 33 minutes, but I still did not think that he did a great job. He is a liability on defense. Whoever can get switched onto him, Lawyer, but he is feisty. He got in there on the baseline, made a couple of nice floaters, but let's go over here. So, yeah, and then first half, the three-point shooting was awful, and then Indiana was able to really make up that difference really quickly after hitting a couple threes in the second half. Like Rice hit one, and Goody hit one, and all of a sudden, I mean, they were rolling, and when they were getting the ball down low to Renew, they were just not able to stop Indiana. I mean, Renew was seemingly just being able to get the ball, pivot around, or make space. And how about Leo down low? I mean, there were two times where he got the ball down low, found him on the pass, and he just did a great job of using, what God gave him, his ass, and just moving the guy around, creating some space, and getting where he could, like, put the ball in the bucket. That was great to see. Although, I think, like, Leo, and he was a great shooter in high school, but it's like when you watch him out there, he just has such little experience shooting the three ball. It's the one he shot did not look good. So I was happy he went away from that. Galloway hit a three, maybe a couple of threes, and he had a couple others that looked guided. But, I guess in this game, it's like towards the end of his career, he was able to put some together there. And Galloway was really they went to try to play ice defense on him, and that's where, like, the game last year at Purdue, they played that almost exclusively on Galloway, and it really, really choked him up. And that is where I only know this from watching a painter video, but it's like when Braden Smith is like only trying to make that he cannot drive with his right hand and trying to make him go baseline every single time, and they're not trying to allow Indiana not to get the ball into the center of the court. So some of those plays when they were running that, Indiana still had some effective like plays where they got the ball like off of that zoom action. They would get the ball like back down to Renew right down on the block. And then once he was getting it down there, I mean, especially Purdue is really a light load team down low this year. I mean, Trey Kaufman-Renn, he's like all they got down there. I mean, first can play some defense down low and, you know, can get walled up, but he's not like a big body guy where, I mean, Balo and Renew, it was just unbelievable to see, you know. I mean, this is what basketball is supposed to be like. Like, it's supposed to be fun. And the thing about it is, like, the game doesn't have to be some, you know, some crazy amount of scoring all the time. I mean, you can watch a team like Houston yesterday, or even like, I mean, I was just talking to my dad about this. I'm like, watch Danny Wolf and watch Cooper Flagg. Like, Cooper Flagg, the best thing he does, he gets like about 3-4 steals a game. That gets him some points. He gets about like 5 or 6 really good assists a game. So he's helping everybody else out. And then he just rebounds the crap out of the ball. That guy's going to be a lottery pick. He doesn't like, and yes, Cooper Flagg can score, and so can Danny Wolf. But you don't have to press the issue every single time down the floor. You just have to find the mismatch on the defense. That's what gets teams like way off balance. And then when you have that's what I wish Mbako would be able to find in his game, because if he could find, I got to take a drink of this pop here, because throat is super dry today. But yeah, if Mbako could ever find that type of, I mean, he's just not a good passer. He's not good on defense, but you can definitely see where a guy like Cooper Flagg, who's 6'9", Mbako's like the same size, and he just refuses to do any of those things. It's unbelievable. But enough of that, because this game, I mean, the guys that stayed on the court, I mean, it was like Galloway played 38 minutes. Leo played 35 minutes. Miles Rice, by far, played his best game. Like I've said, I've watched a lot, or not a lot, but I watched 3 like of the full games of Miles Rice last year when he was at Washington State. That team played like an open style where he could like run here and and it was just like a run and gun passing, and he was surrounded by good players that could shoot and you know, that had like more defined roles than this team has. So yeah, it is it's just fun to watch an Indiana team. And of all games, you know, of these last 2 wins, and I really wish like the UCLA game was right there for the taking. Would have been great to get that game. But I mean, of all the games to win at Michigan State, beat Purdue at home. And what is Mike Woodson? He's 3-3 now all time. And I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, Archie Miller never beat Purdue. And something happened. Something happened today where they decided, hey, we're going to play defense. And it was the guys that were on the court. I mean, Goody, Galloway, you know, Goody played with Lawyer in high school. You got some inside knowledge on some of these guys. They all played AAU together. I mean, Galloway, you know, Braden Smith was playing at the same time. A bunch of these guys are all in-state guys. So I do love to watch that. Yeah, it just to see all of the Indiana guys on both sides of the court going at it. And I mean, the Indiana faithful were there, and the crowd was super into it. Yeah, Goody hit some big threes. I thought the last 3 Galloway hit was definitely critical, because there was a time there with about 5:32 on the clock. They got the ball, and I thought, oh, you cannot start slowing the game down now. Like, you gotta like still keep the pedal to the metal. And and they were able to still, and then that fifth foul really on Trey Kaufman-Renn, that's really what kind of sealed it up, because they just were not going to have anybody who was going to get up on Ballo or Renew or anybody. But, this game, this is more of like a typical game, the type of role that Ballo would have played on like Arizona. He wasn't like their go-to guy, but 22 minutes, 5 rebounds. He'd normally get more rebounds than that, but 12 points. You can see he's kind of out of shape, and when you see that he's struggling out there, take him out of the game and put Renew back in, because he's just not that type of player. And I think it's been that way for Ballo his entire career. I think us as Indiana Hoosier fans, we're paying this guy $1 million. I don't know why we paid him $1 million, but we're bringing him in, and we think, oh, this guy's got to be like the, second coming of Alan Henderson's senior year or something like that. And then, oh yeah, he has lost some weight, but then they've been playing a lot of games though too. So, but it was just a better overall. Rice, 12 points on 31 minutes and 2 rebounds. Leo, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 points, and he's the real difference maker on the defensive end. How about that kicked ball by Miles Rice? I don't think he kicked it at all, if it even touched his foot. That was a spot where I just thought, oh, if they lose this game, that's going to be one, because they had just a breakaway layup right there. But and Luke Goody, 11 points, 1 rebound. But let's just look over the overall. Yeah, Indiana ended up 51.9% on field goals, 28 of 54 from the floor, and not great on three-pointers. That just goes to show you, like, when you play great defense, you can be 4 of 19 on three-pointers, and you can still get it done. They were 7 of 16. I mean, they were like 50% in the first half, like 4 of 8, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, you lose that battle there, but then overall, offensive rebounds were equal. Defensive rebounds were Indiana had 21 to their 22, but that's the ball movement. Indiana 18 assists to their 9 assists and 4 blocks. Anthony Leal had 2 blocks, but Purdue turning the ball over. Braden Smith turns into a shell of himself when you really, and maybe it's just this point of the year and everything like that, but you've just seen him lately. And he did this the first half of the Indiana game. He made some mid-range jumpers, but he wasn't affecting the game passing the ball like he normally would. When he is able to drive, dish, and then guys are getting easy baskets, this is what I always think when I'm playing golf. It's like, are you making easy pars, or are you just like struggling? Are you making long putts to make pars? It's the same in basketball. It's like, the more you really put the team like on edge, like that they're fighting for every 2 points, because that's what they did at Purdue in the second half. Even after they started out on that 3-27 run, I mean, Indiana kept scoring, and I think, they were stuck on 5 there for a second and 7, and Purdue was just not able to do anything. But let's see some of the comments here, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can shoot 40%. If you hit free throws, don't turn the ball over, don't allow offensive rebound. Yes, that is what the college game is all about. But I'm going to get off of here for today because I cannot stop swallowing. And but no matter what, Mike Woodson's gone. This is not he's coming back as coach, because anybody that thinks, oh, he figured something out, it's not. He's not figured anything out. But you know what? They go up against Purdue. They get the victory. And as IU fans in any season, we want to see our team beat Purdue, especially at home. Like, you just do not want to get swept by Purdue, no matter what, when it comes to anything, and give them any type of feather in their cap or anything like that, because they're going to just he could be resurrected. Not today, not before April 20th, Easter. He's not coming back from the dead. But you beat Purdue, yeah, and we play Kentucky next year. So, but there's a lot. I don't know if I'm going to make a video tomorrow just because I'm so sick, but I did start a petition for Chris Beard, and this is not a petition to hire Chris Beard. It's only petition to just that he should be given the fair assessment that everybody else should, and not just be shuffled off by the media like how it seems like a lot of people have done. So yeah, actually, because I saw your name pop up there, yeah, it was I believe it was Brandon Alton that said to put pen to paper. So I did that this morning, and started a Chris Beard petition, because give the man equal treatment compared to everybody else. But thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.